Welcome to the Fret Frontier. Today we are going to apply our theme to our position 2 notes for our constant bass acoustic blues. So in our last lesson we added on a collection of notes that go from the 3rd fret to the 6th fret on the first 2 strings, and we played them as quarter notes with their bass notes. And I'll give you an example of that. Okay, where we're just playing on every solid beat. Now we're going to apply our theme, which sounds like this. Okay, before we start to play our theme, what we're going to do is count out the notes the way that they're played in the melody to get a little bit of practice on our reading of the timing part of notation. So what we're taking a look at is how to count out quarter notes as opposed to eighth notes, as opposed to half notes, as opposed to whole notes. Now here's a little chart of what the different note timings mean. So when you see a whole note, you're counting 4 beats. So you would play the note and you would tap your foot, each downbeat being 1 beat of your foot hitting the ground. So here would be a whole note. We'd play it and count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, on our little chart, the other note, the next one we see, is the half note. That gets 2 beats. So if we had one measure of 4 beats, we could fit 2 half notes in there, and that would sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're already familiar with our quarter note. You can play this with me. Let's just put the first finger on the 3rd fret of the 1st string. Let's play together quarter notes as we've been doing. I'll count us in on 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now, when we get to our 8th notes, the way we think about the timing with that, all this time, we want to be tapping our foot so we get this coordination going and think in our minds about that rhythm. We've got the foot going 1, 2, 3, 4. When the foot comes back up, as it has to do to tap again, that movement we're going to call and that is the half beat. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So let's do that tapping with our foot, that down and up, and let's clap it out at the same time. So these would be 8th notes. Together. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay. Now if we played those as notes, let's go back to our 3rd fret on the 1st string, 1st finger. We're going to play a series of 8 notes for 4 beats together. Tap the foot while you're doing this. We'll count in at 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay? So that's how that works. And when we see a series of those types of notations put on our musical staff for us, what is being expressed is how long to play each one of those notes. So we get it to sound the way the melody should sound. So people that can sight read that are watching this already know the power of being able to count out your timing. You can take a song that you've never heard before, and if you know how to count it out, you can play it the way other people expect to hear it that are familiar with it, because it's giving you that information. It's helping translate to you how long each one of those notes should resonate in time, how long the ear should hear them. So let's go ahead and count out the first 4 bars of this we're following that top line. I'll show you the notes here, and we're going to count them out together. I'll do it slowly. I'll count out loud. Do it with me, best you can if you've never done this before, and start to get the hang of it. So let's do it together. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Now what you'll notice is that you'll see, for example, in the first measure, a half note, but you didn't play anything there. So if we were thinking of quarter notes going through there, that half note would occur on the third beat. But we didn't clap. And the reason we didn't clap is that it's tied, if you see that little line that connects it to the note in front of it, which means that after we play that eighth note there that's in front of the half note is just holding on. It's holding on that same sound. It's tied. So we don't play it again. It's just letting the performer know this is more time. More time needs to be given to this note before you play your next note, and you should let it ring out. Okay? And we see that again in the second measure. Let's talk about it in the fourth measure. We see that note on the third fret of the second string, and we don't actually play that note, right? We've played the note before it, in the bar before it. It's tied to it, so we count to 4, but we don't let go of the note. We let it ring out, okay? So we've clapped through that rhythm. Let's now play it, and I'll count out loud the timing. Now we're going to play just the notes on the top there. We're not going to play the bass line right now, so you can just focus on this idea of counting. I'll count us in on 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So we're going to do this now on our second line because we have the exact same rhythm going on, right? Our theme is repetitive. We're doing riff-based blues. So we have a little melody line that repeats. That is our theme, right? We hear it repeated more than one time. It's a little melodic phrase, okay? So let's go ahead to the next 4 bars and clap them out. This time, hopefully it'll feel a little bit easier, okay? On 4, get your foot ready. We're tapping with our foot. After 4 beats, we start to clap, all right? Count us in. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, you'll notice the difference when you're clapping is you don't get that sensation of the whole note being held, right? Because you clap and it pretty much, the sound goes away. So you can clap something out to get an idea of when you're going to play notes, but you still need to have that understanding of how long to let the notes ring out and how tied notes work, which we just talked about. When you see a tie, you play the first note, and the note that is tied to it is just telling you about the addition of more time. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and play that second line on 4 by itself without the bass note so we can focus on the timing. On 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So now we're on our last 4 measures. When we take a look at what's happening here, we have a lot of tied notes. So we're really only playing 2 notes in the melody. So when we clap through those first 4 bars, let's take the first bar there, the one with the A7. We'll just do that one so you could just hear how it would go. It's going to be 1 and 2, 3, 4. And that's how it sounds when we play it, except that we don't let go of that second note on our instrument, so it continues to ring out. Okay? So let's just go ahead and clap out that 4-bar part of the music. Count us in. Tap your foot. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. All right. So now let's play that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Okay. So now we've gone through and we've counted those out. We'll play them end to end in a moment with the bass notes, but let's pause and take a look at what is going on with this turnaround. So let's take a look at the way we have been playing the turnaround. We're doing third finger, third fret on the second string, first finger, first fret on the second string, then open, second string, then we come down to the third fret of the third string, then we come to the second fret of that same string, third string. Now we're going to do open on that same string, okay, third string, and then first fret, third string. Yeah, right. And then second finger on the second fret, third string. All right, I play it through. Well, you can play with me. Let's play it together. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Okay, we're playing what's called chromatic notes, or notes that are not necessarily in the scale, and they're considered passing tones. So it sounds interesting to the ear. Okay, and I'm going to show you this pattern. It's easier to see if we play it across one string. So let's do it on our third string. If we start on the 7th fret here, you'll see that this is our D note, right? We're in the key of D, so we're starting on D. Then we skip a whole step, and that means that we skip one of these frets, right? So after we play 7, we play the 5th fret, then we play the 4th fret, the 3rd fret, the 2nd fret. Okay, so that's our chromatic run. Every fret, every fret. So we start over here on D. One more time, let's do it together. D on our 7th fret, C on the 5th, and then we throw it to the wind. 4, 3, 2, all right? Now our next note, we're doing that whole step. It's a little harder to see here, right? Because we're skipping this fret, and then off here you'd consider your open note. So we have this open note, then we come back to the 1st fret, and then the 2nd fret. And those are chromatics again, right? And when we slowed it down, right, when we come over here, if you wait too long, it sounds a little weird, right? So you have some dissonance in there, but as long as you eventually resolve to a note that is in the scale, the ear will go, oh, that was interesting. And so that's another thing to think about when you are playing, okay? If you ever make what you know to be a mistake because you're playing it and you didn't really want your finger where it went, you're only 1 fret away from the correct note. And if you get there quickly enough, the person listening to you will just think of it as an interesting thing that you did, a little chromatic run, okay? So that hopefully will help you to feel more comfortable when you're playing. There's really no mistakes. There are interesting passing tones. And when you hear something that doesn't sound settled, don't stay there too long. Just pass through to the next note that sounds right, and it'll be good. It'll be good to the listener. The ear will accept the note you land on, the note that sounds out the longest, as the tone that you're playing and everything in between are color tones, and they sound pretty. And this is an example of that. We're just playing every note through our little pattern there with just that small little rule of that whole step over here, that whole step over here. Everything else was just every note that we were playing. The last thing that we will do to make it a little easier to hear what's going on here and that these notes sound okay is that we're going to do a bar chord. If you're not comfortable with bar chords, don't worry about it. I'll show you how to play it. If you don't want to play it at this time, you just put it in your little knapsack for later and take it out when you feel like that's something comfortable. But mostly I want you to hear the chords against the notes. in this linear fashion. So we're going to play the notes on the first string. So let's do that starting on our 10th fret here. This is a D on the first string. So we're an octave higher now. So we have our D. We're following this same pattern. We skip this whole step, right? Then we throw it to the wind. Every note, right? Okay. And then we come down to the 3rd fret, 4th fret, 5th fret. Okay. And now what we want to do, I'll just play that for you, or we could play it together. Let's play it together. On 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 10th fret, 8th fret, 7th, 6th, 5th, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and now so we can hear this against the chords. Let's take a look at our bar chord. If we take our first finger and put it across all the strings, all 4 strings on the 10th fret, and then put our second finger on the 11th fret on our 3rd string. So right here, like this, we get a D 7th chord. Okay, and that's because this chord works with the first string. So the first string is the root. So this is a D. So if I want to play my A7, then I need to find the A on this string, which happens to be my 5th fret. So there's my A7. So now what I'm going to do is when I am on the D, I'll play this chord. When I get to the A, I'll play that chord, and you'll kind of hear the harmony go on. So let me just do that for you. So we have the D, A, okay, so that you can hear how those notes go together. And it sounds all right. It doesn't sound like we made any mistakes. Okay, so that's how that turnaround works. And let's go ahead now back and just play our newfound notes together, end to end, our new collection with our theme on it. We'll go a little bit faster, and it'll sound like this. I'll count us in on 4. Ready? All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. I hope that you enjoyed applying our theme to our new collection of notes up here and working through some timing and discussing turnarounds and how they work. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in the next episode.